Creative young entrepreneurs are the future of any economy. It's nothing new, but for the European economy 2012, it seems to become a big problem. Only 3% of the young European adults would like to create their own business or enterprise, while in other countries like Brazil, India, or in the African countries, they are 40 or 50%. European enterprises are at the end of an economic cycle. The new cycle of creative destruction has started without them. That's why Europe is looking desperately for new ideas. Young, creative men and women, wherever they come from, with an open mind and global thinking, creating many projects, events, colloquia and awards. Our purpose is to find out what kind of creative young entrepreneurs are really creating and contributing to the GDP. There are some success stories, best practice examples for intelligent and smart entrepreneurship, and many failures. We can learn from both. Don't expect another tutorial of how to become a successful entrepreneur. We would just like to convert and convince you that what we call the O3 Way could be helpful for you too. Let's start again with some questions. Why does the European Commission focus on small and medium enterprises? Because they provide still 80% of the jobs in Europe? Because small enterprises guarantee the local economic impact, or because they are the last job creators? As a matter of fact, the third industrial revolution, generating the new innovation processes, mass customization, frugal innovation, requires short decision channels, fast applications, scalable process in real time, a permanent open innovation which could be easily integrated by small enterprises if they know how it works. That's why we call them the O3 facilities. That means open source, open innovation, open education. They are all Creative Commons. The facts and figures are clear and convincing. Since 5 decades, Europeans are no longer in the mood of entrepreneurship. Why did they become so reluctant? Lack of awareness of the upcoming third industrial revolution? Perhaps a question of financing and lacking resources? Business 2.0 and the web economy, the greatest personal and entrepreneurial success stories, are made in the USA. And their products and ideas changed many things in our daily life and work. No European enterprise has so deeply impacted our daily life and work like Google. The future of European entrepreneurs will look like this. Even Germany will not escape from the economic change. But even you take Germany, the star pupil of the European entrepreneur class, in 2012, early-stage entrepreneurs represented only 4% of Germany's small and medium enterprises. 43,000 successful German, Italian, French, British global companies provide small added value in their respective countries, but substantial profits made on emergent markets. They are going their way out of Europe. What's the future of the former economic community? Still millions of performant small and medium enterprises, and since 2002, a dozen of entrepreneurial projects across Europe launched by the European Union. 75 local startup incubators, an official European Forum for Entrepreneurship involving 183 institutions in 33 European countries, frequent faculty network meetings, and so on and so on. The event agenda of the different European entrepreneurship initiatives reflects an intensive activity, but at the end, It doesn't change the facts and the figures. Too many local projects without any cross-boundary interconnectivity. This graph should be without any comment, because the figures are telling the facts, and we all understand what they mean. The meltdown is structural. Injecting billions of euros into failing banks doesn't create the new jobs people need. They are not stimulating creativity, innovation or entrepreneurship. In 2012, there were more than 100,000 bankruptcies in Europe, and the economic meltdown is at the beginning. The banks are keeping the money, and existing small and medium enterprises or businesses are often suffering from insufficient cash flow. Thousands of well-educated young men and women in Spain, Italy, Greece, Portugal, Ireland are trying to escape from this economic and social dead end. It's a silent and invisible flow of well-educated immigrants which is leaving Europe hoping to find a job on other continents. They are Europe's lost generation. Let's ask again some redundant questions. If there will be no more industrial job creation in Europe, if job creation in the public services or by public investments cannot be the solution for growing youth unemployment, who will create jobs which generate added value, contribute to the GDP and the wealth of European nations? The last hope. Millions of small and medium enterprises across Europe are still providing jobs for nearly 90 million workers, and many will continue to do so. But they could become the first victims of the next wave. In July 2012, the British magazine The Economist relaunched the discussion about failing European entrepreneurship, calling European entrepreneurs the self-made victims of the global economy. The Economist pointed out that European business creators are mostly corner shops, hairdressers and so on, that plenty of small local businesses are providing services but not enough innovative companies that grow quickly and end up big. The buzzy Berlin startup scene you can find everywhere in Berlin creates ideas but no profit. 9 out of 10 small and medium businesses are actually micro-enterprises with less than 10 employees. Hence, the mainstays of Europe's economy are microfirms, each providing work for 2 persons in average. Moreover, too many entrepreneurship programs focus rather on functional management skills for small businessmen rather than skills for building, financing, and nurturing web-based entrepreneurship, which requires a different framework. As a matter of fact, European economy needs both. Small business owners who view their business as a job and personal aim. On the other hand, any economy needs entrepreneurs building their business as an asset that will generate income on its own. Startups in Berlin, Amsterdam, London, Paris, with web-based business ideas like online platform businesses are often presented as a flagship of entrepreneurship, but are often only imitating the existing patterns of the US web economy. Entrepreneurship is about growth, creativity and innovation. Entrepreneurs want to expand, and even if they start locally, the idea behind is to expand either the business model or to become a big global player, or sometimes a good deal for a big company. They don't have to be on the 3D innovation trip. It's just a matter of thinking. For example, Starbucks was founded in 1971 in Seattle, a local coffee bean roaster, and was a retailer. The company has expanded rapidly. Since then, many coffee bean roasters and retailers try to take this way, but for their own small local business. Amazon's business idea was based on the long tail dynamic. Etsy, Dawanda, Amiando, integrated the new Business 2.0 facilities into an old idea. They created new services, but not new products. And even the entrepreneur of the year 2012, Reid Hoffman, created nothing else than a professional networking online platform called LinkedIn, where recruiters and job seekers can find an added value. Well, entrepreneur or business owner? The business owner creates his job, his stable and profitable workplace. He tries to convert his know-how, his skills, or local demand, or an opportunity into a revenue. If it works, he will perhaps create a job or two, but he doesn't want to become a global player. 21st century entrepreneur is an artist with local and global awareness and a never-ending innovation process in mind. For him, open innovation, open source, open education are the main ingredients. There are other requirements for young European startups too. Much more than small businesses, startups have to collaborate and to communicate in a cross-cultural transparency. They will have to stimulate their open innovation flow and the way to create a critical mass for cross-boundary swarm intelligence in order to cope with the 4 big innovation killers. The big innovation killers: problems in access to finance, scarcity of skilled labor, high cost of human resources, a lack of market demand. How might we support web entrepreneurs in launching and growing sustainable global business? How can we fastly identify businesses that create and innovate sustainable products and services? The open innovation, open source and open education are web-based, but also based on a permanent interaction. We found a very innovative platform called OpenIDEO, where contributors, externals and facilitators can get permanent visibility and transparency. Entrepreneurs and business creators have to know why and when they should use this new O3 facilities, which are working somewhere in the backend. They have to integrate many new and very different skills at the same time. That means they will have to choose the right tools, the right open software for the business, because it's cost savvy and you can get support from the community. Then they will have to install their own intelligence agency in order to harvest and curate the open innovation data flow. Let's call it social monitoring. This present transition era is the opportunity to talk about the Schumpeter cycles. Economic development is based, said Schumpeter, on innovation in progress and steady creativity. They are endogenously destroyed and replaced by new ways and methods. Schumpeter called it the creative destruction. Let's just retain his fundamental idea. The upcoming of new ideas and innovations destroys the old way of production and working. That's exactly what's happening now. The only difference is the cycles are becoming shorter and faster, reducing the time left between each cycle to adapt and to integrate the new way. Taking the O3 way, what does it mean? The open source software is developed in a public, collaborative manner. Many software applications are open source. Before you install an expensive software for your business, you better should be able to decide how to spend your money for innovation. Open knowledge transfer is also called open education and offers the connection to the global data flow where you can find the information and knowledge you need for your learning at the speed of life and even for the learning of your co-workers. Learning how it works, learning how to do and where you can get the best tips and tricks. Open innovation is the third element of this O3 way. Sounds like mystics, but it's just a paradigm shift. just like communication, publishing and collaboration are part of your daily business 2.0. Online collaboration tools require new skills, a perfect timing, a clear netiquette, and all the competencies 2.1, enabling cross-boundary connectivity, but also human interaction based on consent, trust, and communication. Web-based entrepreneurship requires, of course, a stable internet connection, but also the shift from the one-way communication to a project and process-centered communication. And that's why a web-based enterprise has to be platform-based, like any efficient organization today. Today's online platform software enable steady interaction and visibility and connectivity to the social stream, and internal and external information flow, and thus the instant readability of any project and process management. Startups can migrate their companies to the cloud. Enterprise can outsource and create decentralized co-working spaces, regardless of whether you are working remotely or next to your door. A handful of online tools can ensure that your next brainstorming meeting will be full of fresh ideas and effective communication among your employees. Creativity as a driving force in regional economic growth and prosperity, but remains just a theory. At the end, you will have to present a product or service. What did we observe? Only high levels of density of creative people are providing the conditions under which interaction between individuals are more likely to generate innovation processes. That's one of the success ingredients of Silicon Valley. What's behind this word? First of all, a theory called the structure of scientific revolutions. It has been published in 1962 by Thomas Kuhn. And how does Thomas Kuhn explain the paradigm shift? You remember the story of Galileo Galilei and Copernicus, two European physicians who lived in the 16th and 17th century. They proved that our Earth was not a flat surface, but a globe, and moreover, only one of many others inside a constellation rotating around the Sun, the Earth, and thus the people living on this globe, rotating on itself and around the Sun, were no longer the center of the universe. Imagine this paradigm shift for the people at that time. They could neither understand nor admit that they were no longer living on a solid ground, but only rotating. For you and me, it's an evidence now. For them, it was a revolution in their mind, in their life. That's the meaning of paradigm shift, a complete revolution in the way we think the world. Think different. Do you remember the slogan? That's one of the nuggets we found searching for European startups trying to apply the O3 Way. The Norwegian startups don't have much money, but they are organizing their open innovation with open source elements, creating transparency and visibility for all of us. Look at their website. The infograph is open source, open-end, you can take it, continue the code or integrate it into your website. Let's extend this interactive infograph, initiated last month, because if we create interaction, visible interaction, it could be a little step forward on the O3 way.